My check this thing on. Let me get started. Let me get started because this is my second time coming through, and which I might come through a third time because every time that I see something that I don't like, I'm gonna have to come through and speak on it. All right. Now, I'm QI. No need for a long introduction. But let me break down to y'all what's going on. There's been a long game played on the B sector, right? Now, there's been two influxes. Now, this is from the black sector. There's been which is also simultaneous to the manosphere. I got the puzzle pieces to all the players. I can name all the players. I put together the puzzle pieces and all of that. Ever since this beach said that the manosphere was coming to take over the beach sector, guess what? I started doing my little research, right? All right. Now, basically, the game that has been played, because I heard somebody one time say 48 laws of power. Then I kept seeing a reoccurring law number 33, I believe it was. Now, I can remember law number 33 because 33 is the number that I represent spiritually. I'm a master number. All right. So there is no way God appointed me to be the person that I am. All right. But the game that has been played is the divide and conquer game, right? So guess what I did? I was sitting there, I was like, divide and conquer. And I could not remember the source of the divide and conquer technique, right? So I was like, who is the source? Because like the law number 33, that's the 48 laws of power, or and even Envy was up there talking about, the law, he was breaking down some laws. Now I am one who's very familiar with a lot of those, right? Now I don't necessarily practice them in my everyday life because I'm a spiritual person. Those type of laws are only used in warfare. The majority of that is only used in warfare and different methods. But if you is who you is, if you do have the it factor, as they want to call it, then you come out here and you do what you're passionate about. I'm talking about in real life, y'all. I'm not talking about YouTube, but it's supposed to be that way on YouTube. You're supposed to be able to, because let's talk about it. This is a business, right? And really, it's your brand. So when you come out here, there are some people who come out here and create a channel and they're not affiliated with anybody else on YouTube, any other sector. They just come out here, they create their YouTube channel, and they begin to do content, and it might take them longer to grow, but they grow. That's how it started off in the first place. In the first place, when they first came on this app, nobody had any sectors or alliances or anything like that. They just started doing content, and they grew. Now, what happened was the people who started first, were the people with the larger numbers, right? So unfortunately, that narcissistic, that selfish, that greed, they began to see how as competition, more competition came on, that they can help, like smaller content creators. But they didn't do it. They did it some people did it in a fair fashion, and some people did it in an unfair fashion, just like I was talking about the trifecta. The trifecta, they saw how numbers and getting people monetized real quickly and basically controlling the traffic benefited them. And then it also messed up the sector because we had so many content creators. April Walker, Boss Lady New Jersey. It's so many content creators within the original beef sector that these new people and these outside sectors don't know. And then here comes Lemon. Now I used to be proud of Pizza because Pizza was the only one out of the trifecta that didn't let men on her panel. And the original insurgents of the black sector was okay because it was like Buddy Lee and Lady Lie. That was okay because it was tit for tat. They gave, it was an even balance. It was like cross supporting each other equally. Or cross supporting the trifecta equally. See, if you want to ask me, this ain't the first time that, because Pizza over there talking about creating a new sector. So basically, Pizza's ready to get rid of the trifecta sector. The trifecta sector. She's ready. Is she ready to drown the trifecta sector for a new sector or what? Because basically, the only thing right now that's going on is the trifecta sector. Because anybody who's original beef sector is getting attacked pretty much by the trifecta sector and friends. Because Lemon is a part of the trifecta sector. I guess he stepped up to either replace or something ODS or like ODS or something like that. YouTube cameras part of the trifecta sector. We see clearly, and it's more than three. So they shouldn't be called the trifecta sector. It should be something else, but their name is the trifecta sector. But anyways, basically what I'm gonna say what other people are using, I don't, like the thing that I still haven't answered is whether I don't see why pizza and the trifecta sector would want to give over their power because and start a new sector. I don't even know why they're allowing people into the sector like they are because they're going to be at the bottom. Just like they did the B sector, they're about to get their karma because as soon as these other people get what they need to get, they're going to kick them out. Because, basically what's going to happen with their new sector is everybody's going to be fighting for who's going to be at the top. Two of the first two people who going to start warring with each other is Lemon and Pizza. Because it's hard to say goodbye. My bad, y'all. That's going to be funny. That is going to be so funny. Because it's going to be hard, so hard to, and then, oh my God, it's going to be so, y'all, oh my God, it's going to be a hot mess are coming. Now these people who were hiding, who were avatars, because here's the thing: in the original beef sector, we already said everybody had to cam up, and then it's an unfair advantage for like the original beef sector. We were the ones that went through the pain. We were docs. We went through the storms. We went through like the real trenches, and then these new people like Lemon and Pizza. And even Bree, because Bree didn't really go through nothing. Bree ain't lost not nan job, not nothing, because she was up under the TSCC. And then when she wasn't under TSCC, she was under under the trifecta. And they created this little defense team and army for themselves. I bet I dropped something. But I want to break down. So, like, what I'm saying is, I don't know if the trifecta, it seems as though they do, because it seems as though they think that Virgin, all these people is going to give them bigger numbers and is going to keep them at the top, but it's not. Because we got a lot of egos involved, because I even seen old buddy ZX over there. So let's say the first ZX, Lemon, and Pizza are going to be going to war. Now, Pizza an easy target because she's the only female. And she's not like she's not like she says she's a warrior woman. Uh, but she's misogynistic. So already right there, like she's lost her power. So let me break down what because this divide and conquer technique, I didn't even realize it, but it also has to do with algorithm. Do y'all not hear me? The divide and conquer. Because what I did was I went over to handy dandy chat GPT and I just put in divide and conquer because all I wanted to see was what what where that technique originated. And it gave me so many answers. So I decided to come on here and share it with you all. Okay, so basically the first one is divide and conquer is an algorithm design strategy where you, number one, divide the problem into smaller sub problems. You divide the problem into smaller sub problems. Okay. The second one is to conquer the sub problem by solving them recursively. So to conquer what people consider the problem, like first of all, you go into a sector and you recognize the root of the problems, right? In other words, let's say it like this. Let me not use their terminology with this. Let me use the terminology that should be used. You go into a sector, you determine where the weaknesses are. So the weaknesses was the trifecta altogether. The weaknesses was B sector 2.0. So the trifecta and the B sector 2.0 were the weaknesses. So when these new people came in, they basically, it's going to probably tell us in a few minutes, but all they did was shower them with gifts, which even divided the trifecta from the B sector, and which even divided the 2.0's from the trifecta and the B sector. So that was coming in and showering a certain subgroup or certain people with money that caused division. Cause it's like, like how y'all sitting up here acting like y'all run the sector, y'all can dictate or whatever, and y'all not even the people who laid the bricks. Y'all not even the people who pounded in the nails. Y'all are not even, because none of them went through any pain. Because I was listening to Envy's live today earlier, and Envy was basically saying they were like, calling the police. Well, let me just tell y'all straight out, you got to call the police and you got to go to court because these people don't exercise boundaries. It's easy for Pizza to sit up there and to complain about people, going to court because her identity is not out here. She hasn't been doxxed. She don't have to worry about her family being harassed. She don't have to worry about her children, pictures being taken of her children. She don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that the people in the original B sector who cammed up, who were out for display to create the content, to create the B sector, had to worry about. She doesn't have to worry about it. And now that she's being threatened to be exposed, like all of us have been doxxed. Now that hurts because we shouldn't even consider her B sector. Because one of the criteria that one time we stated was everybody in the B sector been doxxed. So she ain't been doxxed. So you're already, even if it's a war of words, you're already on an unfair playing ground because this person knows so much about you. Like when she brought this heat in here and bringing in all these other people who are laced with information about us and we don't know nothing about them. That's an unbalanced, unfair playing ground. And that's basically what has been going on. And that also created division. Now, the third one says combine the smaller solutions into the final solution. All right, so basically they already had done that. The final, like, so they divided and then they ran everybody to Lemon's channel. Like everybody that was Lemon channel, Lemon supporters or whatever, not everybody, but the majority of people. That's why I kept my eye open. I watched. That's why I observed. I kept my observations on. That's why I didn't turn an ignorant. I didn't ignore it. I observed and analyzed. Same thing that the police and the FBI do. Sit back and they're gonna let you keep playing. They're gonna let you keep going. They're gonna observe. You're gonna observe. Through my observation, I found out who all the root to the manosphere mergers are. I found out, like I just found out, like, because at first I was confused about, the black sector, Tommy Sotomayor, because I know Tommy Sotomayor was, he was basically arguing with Kwame Brown about who was over there, Manosphere. And then even like I used to support Monty Woodgrain and anti-Afro. I thought they were from the conscious community. I didn't know that they were Umar sector. So that just show you how all of these people they, are sort of and then Rob B is in the beef sector, Rob B is in the black sector, and Rob B is in the manosphere, and she's in the Umar sector. Rob B is in all four sectors. They even went over to the Mo 3 sector. So they're all even in the Mo 3 sector. Also, a classic example of a merge sort is split the array into two halves. Number one is to split the array into two halves. Number two is to sort each half recursively. And number three is to merge the two sorted halves. So after you split the array into two halves, so you splitting the original beef sector from the trifecta and the 2.0's. So once you've done that split, then you sort each half recursively. So then they begin to sort out the people who were participating within the trifecta and the 2.0's. So they began to further weed. And then after they did that, they merged the two sorted halves. So basically, they took the people that they wanted. They merged the sector. I mean, they divided the sector. Then they took the people from the two halves or the three halves or the four halves. They picked the people that they wanted. So they offered them candy, coffee, all kinds of different trinkets, to gain their likeness, to gain their support to get in, right? Then once they got in, right now what they're trying to do is form their own sector, right? So this is the merge that they're making, algorithm wise. This is the merge that they're making. So now algorithm wise, now they're gonna take the all of the people, because everybody, okay, everybody who likes this person, that person, this person, that person are gonna follow. But don't you worry if you don't follow. Not following is the best decision that you can make, because basically you're taking all of the dysfunction, the majority of the dysfunction, the majority of the toxicity, the majority of the non-talented. Because when these people came in, they came in looking at numbers. It's just like money. Like I had to tell somebody, money holds no value, resources do. So although this person might have billions of dollars, and they appear to have some sort of net worth, something can happen within the bank, and in less than 60 seconds, they can go from a billionaire to broke. Whereas resources replenishes itself over and over again. I don't know if y'all got what I put down, but resources replenish itself over and over again. Resources hold value, or even in desperate times, desperate measures, increases value. If there is a shortage of rocks and you're the only one that have rocks, and there is a high demand for rocks, I'm a millionaire just based off of rocks. There you go. All right. So it ain't the numbers, because really you can't determine what numbers from what numbers, because there's a lot of hate watching. There's a lot of people, like everybody who, all of those numbers are not about to follow to another sector, are not about to follow this this crap. And that's why I urged the original beef sector. like to let's do the same. Let's clean up. Let's go in since they want to go. Let them go. Let's sweep up all the residue, sweep up and clean up, and then let's begin to rebuild. Where it's fair to the people who put into this sector, fair to the people who supported this sector and who wants to be content creators, and then fair to the LGBT community and the black women who want to, because some of them might go as well, go because they if they don't know that they ain't gonna be respected over there. But then over here, like we could create a better original B sector. So let them go. But I just want to come on and really like, okay, so let me just break down all of the divide and conquer algorithms, right? Or techniques or types. There's the binary search that deals with YouTube, binary that deals with 0101, binary, binary code. There's the binary search of algorithms. There's the quick sort. There's the merge soft. So the soft merge already began with Buddy Lee and Lady Locke. That was the soft merge. The binary code. Because like after he came over here, he paid his little money and stuff like that. He built up his memberships. He built and so he's in the algorithm and he grew his own core audience based off of the B sector. He would have never done that in the Umar sector. But that was the binary method. And it's the Stonson's matrix multiplication. Now I gotta look that one up. And the closet pair of points. I gotta look that up. That's gonna be on my list. I'm gonna look that up and break that down because I think this is important. And this is not just important to YouTube, this is important to life. Because keep in mind, I'm just gonna reiterate that what made me come across this information was like I wanted to know what the origins of the divide and conquer technique was. Who was the origin? Where did it originate from? And I mean and I don't mean like the first time it was done because we may not even know the first time that it was done because it's a psychological type of thing. But I just want to know the first time that it was coined under like the 48 laws of, was it 48 laws of power? Was it this? Was it that? Was it derived from chess, playing chess, which is a game that helps people to learn about war, war techniques. Because I even heard Envy say, and like other than the manosphere misogyny, other than the MAGA and the Trump supporting, there are some things that I do like of Envy. But I do realize that he tolerates me. I guess he looks at me the same, but then at the same token, I just, like overall, I would just say he expresses that he doesn't like me. And it's manosphere because I'm always speaking openly about it. I did that before, like before I even started getting active, coming back live in the sector, whatever. I was speaking about that because I'm a part of the BWE sector. I'm a part of the Black women empowerment sector, where the real manosphere, as Nyla would say, them big dogs of the manosphere play. Because basically, according to them, Envy and all of the people who they said manosphere, they're pop up channels. That's what she said. They're pop up channels. Okay, advantages often reduces time complexities. So using these different methods and stuff can reduce time. It can enable parallel processes. So a pro and a con processes. So you could divide and you could quickly see like good fruit from bad sorting. Good fruit, bad fruit, okay fruit. Like just putting things into its proper category. And then it works well for large data sets. It works well for a sector. It works well for large numbers. So they didn't just come in here. They didn't just come, and they already knew the players. They already knew the players was not smart. They already like if any of the active players of the B sector right now were to tune into this live, they would not have a clue of what I was saying. They would not understand what I was saying, and they would say it was boring. But any of the smart players, the real players, they should appreciate this information. So it works well for large data sets. The are recursive overhead. And that's basically what I'm telling you right now. Recursive overhead. So we know that overhead is your cost, like what it costs to operate the business, right? So they want to start a new sector, right? Which is pretty much going to be manosphere, led and driven. They don't even manosphere, led and driven. Do you think the pizza just came up with that idea on her own to start a new sector? And then look at she's openly inviting people. This is going to be so pizza's about to face the karma, right? All right. But they're like they're gonna like the war of because pizza ain't going out without a fight. Lemon ain't going out without a fight. And I'm ooh we they ain't never been through no pain, but until now. And then poor Lady Nick, I hope she don't go. I hope she don't go. Poor Brianna, I hope you don't go. I hope you don't go. It's not gonna be good. We talking about remix. We talking about oh my God, don't go. But it can use extra memory. It's gonna like that's gonna take a lot of time. That's gonna take a lot of effort. That's gonna take a lot to do that. That's gonna take a lot. That's gonna take a lot. That's gonna take a lot. A lot of memory. We're just gonna say memory is muscle, memory is brain, memory is time. Combining steps may be expensive. And then who's gonna dictate the next moves? Who's gonna dictate the next moves? Who's gonna be HBIC? Who's gonna all of that? Who's gonna be president? Should we vote? Let's do a poll. So Lemon and they do a poll and Lemon and Pizza lose. How do y'all think that's gonna work? If you want, yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna like break down divide and conquer in real life situations next, and reoccurrent relationships. From a real life perspective. But to the people who are smart, critical thinkers or whatever, the way that I, sort of broke it down, it is real life. But from Chat GPT, it's broken down like into like algorithm, from an algorithm. So I'm gonna assume that the divide and conquer like dealt with algorithm, but algorithm does not just have to do with computers and data. It has to do with a strategy, a system, a formula as well. So it does deal with real life, but it's just like a corporate type of thing when you're dealing with countries and war and different things of that nature. So that's basically all I came to do was to break down like the technique that they have used to divide and conquer, how it unfolds and stuff like that. And like I said, the real people appreciate like the smart people and the real people and the people who are not about that toxicity, that dysfunction, seeing women degraded as content for free. Because they're not going to be the women in the LGBTQIA are not going to be making any money like now like in the sector right now, the B sector. The people that the LGBTQIA and like the original black sector women, I mean B sector women are the ones that are making the least money within the B sector. The people who helped lay the bricks and stuff are the ones who are making the least money in the B sector. So that's all I just came to point out, because other people want to come in and they want to, and that's why they, okay, yeah. Let me not forget, they've also divided and conquer and put in the algorithm, the money, the big money contributors, the paymasters. So, like they also know who the paymasters are. And so the big paymasters, the paymasters, they've like looked at every camp, seen who the paymasters are, and they're ready to run out with the paymaster. So there you go. Because a lot of people are paying, like at the end of the day, let's just keep it a buck. We're not getting a whole lot of talent. We're not getting a lot out of, like, these people are paying big dollar for nothing. We're not getting a lot of quality or a lot of value out of what we're seeing today. So if they're willing to pay for what they see today, then if they go to they're paying for the numbers, they're paying for the exposure, they're paying for the attention. And so for people who are willing to pay for things like that, they're going to continue. They're going to pay for anything, or they'll pay for nothing for the most part. But, there you go. And until next time, this is Unapologetically QI, Unapologetically X in the building. Like I said, peace, love, and hair grease. Smash that like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. But basically, I just want to break down that the manipulation, the game, and what the long game that the manosphere, according to the speech, and Envy, and Raw B, and Snoop, and so many others have played on the big set. And until next time, I'm out. This is Unapologetically QI, exiting the building. Peace.